Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another review on Deadman Wonderland. Now before we get started, when I first watched this series, I was taken back because it's 2 now, it's 12 a.m. And then you hear a title like, let's tune in to watch Deadman Wonderland. I'm like, huh, that is interesting. I have never heard of this anime before. And the thing about it, why is it called Deadman Wonderland? So I delved into it, it seemed regular at first. But you know how that rule in anime that stuff always goes down by the 3rd episode? Well, stuff went down even in the 1st episode. And I mean stuff went down. I'm like, this normal kid, Ginta, is, just in class being told they're gonna go to this amusement park or field trip or whatever it's called to a prison where these inmates play a carnival game. But they're in the music, but before they get there, I said that three rules for anime where stuff goes down in the 3rd anime. Well, stuff goes down the 1st anime where his whole entire high school class is murdered right in front of him. And you know what happens? He faints. You know why he faints? Because it's blood. It's gory. It's rated off for a reason, people. And it's sad because you know what happens? He wakes up and he is sentenced to the prison they were going to go for their field trip. And he's accused of murdering his entire class, even though it's clearly stated, if you know how our law system works, he should be innocent until proven guilty. If he's the only one left, why on earth would he kill his entire classroom? Like, seriously, it doesn't make sense. Japan and in this series and the justice system has completely failed this kid. He's a minor. You can charge a minor with murder. I mean, well, in some cases it's different, but in this anime, why would he have the purpose to kill his entire class? I see no reason for it, but Japan, this anime is like, no, he killed his classroom. He's sure to be put to death. Yeah. But the one thing I want to know is like, why does Deadman want to have this reputation of being, well, bad? And also, my theory with characters who have white hair, like any white hair, either are two of one things. One, the killer, or they're insane. But Shira right here, this lovely girl with lovely white hair and gloves on her finger, she was very interesting. But before we delve into any of that aspect, I'm like, come on, how can you fail a kid and confuse him and make him go to that same prison where he was, and you put this collar around his neck to do the same entertainment that his classes were going to do by going to this prison? Now, I will say there is a manga in this. I have not read the manga for it because mangas are entirely different from the anime, and so we're debating whether his voice sounds better dubbed or sub. But we're not on that. I'm just completely sad how they just take his character and don't give him much very of a character development. The setting is very unusual since it is set in a prison. The overall concept of the fight is very interesting, so especially when you see here that he is very interesting, but manipulations. Like, you see a lot of that in anime, majority of the time, depending on what anime it is. But yeah, it just Deadman Wonderland just gets a lot of crap about being bad and how the manga is much better and how you should just watch the manga and not watch anime in general. I will agree. When I first watched it, I was not expecting to get what I got out of the whole entire series of, well, Deadman Wonderland, because, I had not read the manga. I just solely watched the anime on, well, Tsunami, and I was in for a whirlwind, a literal whirlwind. I thought it was very sad to watch this whole kid's future be, like, taken away from him, like, within, like, a blink of an eye, watching his whole entire high school class be taken. But with that being said, I think it also turns to the whole sense of how society deems criminals and how they view everything. And I'm just not worried, but I can see why this didn't get a 2nd season, because if you underline a character and just put him in a situation where he's literally fight to the death with other inmates, he either does not know who is his enemy or not, or his allies to help him. I think it does something to undermine the whole situation of what he's placed in. And also the girl I mentioned earlier, his best friend, let me find a better picture of her because it's kind of like, there we go, there we go, not focusing, but it focused down. But I just think that's very interesting that this is her outfit in the game. I mean, and her collar is very interesting, but his collar is very different from hers, and that look in his eye is very intriguing. And I just think the overall finishing of Deadman Wonderland, without giving too much away, I think it's still left with so many unanswered questions. But overall, it seems like this anime is this anime is very dark. It is not just life, it's very horror and gore and supernatural, which I think, and like, the entities that are best here with this anime. But I think one question is how she is his childhood friend. How did she end up in the same place he is, even though she seems perfectly fine, perfectly sane, but she's not. But something's very odd about her, and it's like I said before, anime characters with white silver hair, either killers or they're just crazy. But I'm not gonna spoil that for you because no one likes spoilers. But again, I don't understand why this anime I feel like it had so much more potential of being good, but yet when you base the anime off a manga and turn it to anime, some things are not gonna stick or translate well to a series as a whole. That's just interpretation of my entire opinion, but it is what it is. But overall, I think there are some aspects of it being done right. If they do reboot it to 21st century, maybe you could add more of a character development for these characters, or rewrite. I'm not saying that. Not like necessarily rewriting the plot as a whole, but maybe like delve more into all these characters and like help them develop more of a character plot, if I must say, and maybe not rush everything, maybe, or maybe like I would what's the word? Maybe like have more liberty freedom, make sure each character is not like lost in the spotlight, where I feel like some of these characters were, but that's just my general opinion. I think overall with Deadman Wonderland, it was a very good show. Now, looking back on it, could there been some things that should have been changed? Yes. Overall, undoubtedly. Now, is it going to change? Not really, not really at all. But, it did come back out in like 2011, and there only are like 12 episodes. But I highly doubt that there will be any hopes of rebooting the series, because I think as years go by, there are the only series that got technically a reboot were Sailor Moon and Fruit Basket, but no really reboots on the other series like I mentioned in the past. But overall, I think it's kind of funny though. But if they do choose to reboot the Deadman Wonderland series, I think I would like to see how a new creator take his hold on this, or maybe will they just slowly stick to the storyline in the manga or not. But we'll see. Until then, do y'all agree that maybe some character developments were undermined just to fully focus on Genta or Shiro? Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. But or do you think they should focus more, like help also focus more on the other supporting cast or side characters in this game, but not game, anime. But that's just my spiel on it. Only being 12 episodes, I feel like there could have been done more. But I get with time and resources, you don't really have the materials to full focus on each character when you're also put on a very like strict time limit, I guess. Maybe that's just me, but that is everyone. When you're tied to a project like this, especially anime itself, it does take a lot of time and effort to bring a whole series to progression and finalize for the rest of the world to see. But that's just how the structuring of the dynamic of an anime works, kind of. But your time you do, and then right you don't. Sometimes it just falls through the crack, I feel. But other than that, it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it, but I feel like if it was rebooted, I think I would like to see a little bit of changes. But sorry guys. Come on, let's go. Sorry. I think I'd like to see like be brought back. Maybe like I don't know if it was brought back. I would hope the graphics wouldn't change on it. Maybe keep the original cast as well. But we'll see. Those animes that are produced like a couple years ago, maybe like 9 years ago. No. 7 or 8 years ago. The direction might not change, or it could fully, stay the way it is. The term if it's not broke, don't fix it type of mentality. But that's just me. Maybe if this was brought back, that it could be more revamped, I could say. Or maybe not, you could leave it the way it is, and like maybe one day they can bring it back or not, because there's tons of anime out there that have yet to be released, and still got we're still in the winter season of this, so maybe it could be brought back to the new spring, but who knows? Anime's always changing, you never know what to expect in development. But for right now, I don't think Deadman deserves the bad rap that is given, but maybe that's just the way it it felt short. But let me tell you, so you're going to spend so much on it. But until then, thank you for trying my review for Deadman Wonderland. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.